Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
And I tell you this, my breakout moment in broadcasting was in Winnipeg doing the Wednesday Lottery with Don Whitman. And my favorite author, you can see there's a lot of books in behind me here. My favorite author is from Steinbach, Manitoba. Her name is Miriam Taves, and she moved up. Great story about Miriam. Her father, Mel, ran a school in Steinbach, but on weekends for pin money, he would sell his eggs up in Winnipeg. He would drop off containers of eggs. So at one point, he was getting ready to marry a woman named Elvira, who would be Miriam Taves, the author's mom. And he wanted to build a house just like one he'd seen in Winnipeg dropping off eggs. So Elvira says, well, what's it like inside? He says, well, I have no idea. I just drop the eggs on the veranda and I move on. She said, well, you got to look inside to see if it's a house worth building. He says, I can't ask to go inside. I'm an egg deliverer. She said, leave it to me. So they go up to Winnipeg from Steinbach. She knocks on the door and says, do you mind if we have a look around? My husband here, Mel, wants to build a home just like this in Steinbach, and it will be our new wedding gift. And the guy says, come on in. It was Bill Mosienko. Bill Mosienko holds the record for the fastest hat trick in NHL history. He scored 3 goals in 21 seconds. And that just proves he's a good egg. Oh, sorry, there's a pun.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Right now, Darren.
You know, Andre Dupont, the old Philadelphia Flyer tough guy, was nicknamed Moose.
And you being a tough guy.
Right. But in hockey, when I was younger, another player came across the middle and made the most devastating check I've ever made in my life. Take off the helmet, and it's a girl. So the coach slapped it. Attaboy, Moose. Just like the Moose. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, right?
The one sports show where roughing is encouraged.
All right, good afternoon, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show here on a Wednesday morning from Saskatoon and the Delta Marriott Downtown Hotel in Saskatoon. Rod Pedersen is away. He's, I believe, on the road to Red Deer. If he's not in Red Deer already, he's got some speaking engagements, going to be connecting with the kids and the folks in Red Deer. So he's off today, and I'm in the driver's seat today. So welcome, and let's go. Lots happening on the program today. A very busy day. Taylor Shire will be with us in just a few moments. There he is. Good morning, Taylor. Now of the Regina Leader Post. So congratulations on the new position.
Thank you. Yeah, week 1 here at the Leader Post. It's an exciting time to join and get back on the Rider beat. Of course, the draft is coming up next week, and then training camp before we know it in the CFL.
Awesome. So plenty of CFL talk we'll get to coming up this morning. We'll get the full update, what's going on there. It was a great night in Saskatoon last night. Game 7. I drove up to get to the Western Hockey League Eastern Conference Semi, Game 7. Saskatoon Blades, Red Deer Rebels. The Blades won. They're off to the Eastern Conference Final, and they're going to take on the Winnipeg Ice starting Friday night in Winnipeg. So the voice of the Blades, Les Lazaruk, will be alongside in Hour 2. Also in Hour 2, Jared Dumble will be by talking NHL playoffs. And later on in Hour 1, if you're following along, Jim Mullin, President of Football Canada, will be with us. We're going to get into the SFU situation, find out what's the latest there, and any chance that SFU is going to play football this year. The Canada West just released their schedule yesterday. It does not include SFU on the schedule, so that's not happening. Season. So it'll be interesting to see where things are at with the program. But Taylor's here. Number to reach the program, 902-518-3033. The text line is open. We'll say good morning to everybody in the YouTube chat. We'll get to all your comments here in a moment. There is the text line. And Clark, we still need a daily poll question, and so we'll get to that in a second. But last night, the Edmonton Oilers were on the ice, taking on the LA Kings. It was a big night for the Oilers. They finally broke open. 6-3 win over the Kings. Did we lose Taylor for a second? Is that what happened? Guys? Anybody there? Okay. They'll get that sorted out and get Taylor Shire all logged back in. Last night in the NHL, it was the Edmonton Oilers, a 6-3 win over the LA Kings. What's up, Clark? Taylor's just resetting. We're still good to go. That's all that matters. Stuart Skinner, bounce back game, I guess. 28 shots, 3 goals against, 25 saves. So still a sub-900 save percentage for Stuart Skinner. But we talked about this earlier in the week. What would the Oilers do with their goaltending situation? Would it be Jack Campbell who saved the day and got them the win? Or would it be Stuart Skinner? They went back to Stuart Skinner. He was good. Jonas Korpisalo, not so great. Just 15 saves for Korpisalo, allowing 4 goals in that game. I mean, the Oilers, that was the game they probably needed. I mean, just looking back up and down their lineup here, 2 goals from Nick Bjugstad. The Nuge picked up an assist. He was a +2. I thought he was good. The usual suspects like McDavid picked up a couple assists. Draisaitl another goal. But it was the Oilers, 6-3. We got Taylor back in, or we'd lose him again? There he is. Awesome. So I'm not sure how much you heard about that, but the Oilers last night, I don't know how much you're following this series, but for me, this has been the most entertaining series in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And last night's game was kind of like an exhale for the Oiler fans that, okay, we feel like we've been outplaying LA. We've been outplaying LA. Somehow these games have gone to overtime. And now we finally just put an exclamation on this and won somewhat comfortably 6-3, right?
Yeah, and for them to go back to Stuart Skinner and give him the start, I mean, that it just gives him so much confidence, because if you don't start him in that game, it's, his confidence is shot, and who knows what that means for the next year and the year after and the year after. But the fact that they went back to him, I think it shows that he's their guy and they're going to ride with him. And obviously he'll have a short leash because they do have a decent second option in Campbell. But I really like the call to go back to Skinner because I think he is the future of this team. And there was times in that game where McDavid just kind of took over. I think it was the second goal where he just was kind of dancing around the end zone and set up Draisaitl in front. However, when you look at the stat, I was looking at the stats this morning. The Oilers won 6-3. McDavid was -2. No LA player was -2. So, yeah, figure that out. He was on for 1 power play. Like you said, he had 2 assists, but one of those.
Well, and just
goal, but
yeah,
it's just kind of a crazy stat. And I mean, the plus-minus people will be like, well, the plus-minus is an arbitrary stat in most cases. And I think last night was an example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. The stats have advanced, but Darnell Nurse was the first star last night with a couple of assists. Zach Hyman chipped in with another goal. The Oilers, again, 2 for 3 on the power play, and they were disciplined. I mean, what do I see? The Kings, right, just the 1 power play chance last night. I think that was really key for Edmonton, too.
Yeah, and I think Edmonton, they're still... I don't know if they have what it takes to win the Stanley Cup this year. I think Ekholm has just been the absolute answer for them on the blue line, but I think he needs more of a supporting cast because they still have younger defensemen. I mean, Bouchard and Nurse are playing well, but they're not that, I don't know what to call it. They're not that Ekholm type of player. I'm a Habs fan, so I think back to a couple of years when the Habs had the Shea Weber, Ben Sherratt, those kind of guys where you could just ride them for 30 minutes and they would play a heavy game. And that's what got them to the Cup final. And obviously the game has changed a little bit in the last couple of years with more speed and whatnot. But yeah, I think Edmonton will get by LA, but I think they'll have a tough time getting out of the next round.
Well, that's one of my questions, right, is how far can this Oiler team go? And, with Stuart Skinner coming back in, he wasn't all that busy. I mean, early on he was, but you look at, 16 shots through the final 2 periods that he faced, still allowed 3 goals, a sub-900 save percentage. If those things matter, do you see that catching up to the Oilers a little bit? Because when I saw them play the Kings in LA late in the season, I thought defensively this team had gotten a lot better. They're playing the neutral zone was really good. They were starting to really, shore things up defensively. And I thought if they get a couple of key saves, maybe they've solved their problems. But have we seen those problems just reappear here in round one?
If they can score 6 goals every night, I think they'll have a good chance to win. If they keep that going, and I mean,
I hope so.
With David and Draisaitl and company, and that would obviously make for some entertaining hockey. But they're not going to win many 2-1 games, or even 3-2 games or 1-0 games. So they're going to have to score. Maybe their magic number is 4. If they can score more than 4 goals in the majority of the games, then they'll obviously have a good chance. But when it dries up, or when the next team maybe plays them a little bit tighter. I mean, LA is a pretty tight team to play against, especially with Phil Deneau going up against McDavid. But so whoever they match up against next, if they get past LA, if they play them tighter, they're going to have a tough time, scoring 4 to 5 goals a game and getting those wins. Yeah.
In Carolina, it was Pierre Engvall and Brock Nelson, each with a goal and an assist. Ilya Sorokin made 34 saves. The Islanders staved off elimination, 3-2 win over the Hurricanes. I have Carolina as a Stanley Cup team. I picked them at the beginning of the season. I had Carolina and Colorado reaching the Cup final. I still think Carolina is going to finish off this series. But these Islanders, you come down the stretch, they had to knock off Pittsburgh to get into the playoffs, to beat out Crosby, Malkin, Letang for the final playoff spot. And now they're giving the Hurricanes a run. Did you see this coming?
Well, I did, because they got Barzal back. And I mean, he's still adjusting. He missed, half the season. So he's still getting his feet back under him, but he's such a huge addition to that team. I did have Carolina as well, just based on their play this year, but also their recent playoff history. They've made a few good runs the last couple of years. So I had them to win, but I kind of expected it to go the distance. I still think it will go right down to the wire in a 7th game. But I still think the Canes will win based on kind of their depth and their skill. Even, now they're missing Teravainen, Svechnikov earlier, and Pacioretty. So, I mean, that's 3 players at the start of the year where, that would easily make them a Cup favorite if they had those 3 in the lineup. But I still think they'll get by the Islanders.
We talk about injuries, and we'll talk about the Jets, I think, in the next segment a little bit, because they're dealing with a ton of injuries, and now their back's against the wall, facing elimination. But the other game last night was Dallas over Minnesota 4-0. Sagan was good last night, I thought. Goal and an assist in that one. Roope Hintz, 3 assists. And Jake Ottinger, 27 saves. Dallas maybe rolling a little bit now after kind of stumbling their way through the first 4 games. They've got a 3-2 series lead.
You know what? Dallas was or is my my Stanley Cup finalist that I had picked earlier before the playoffs. I think I even mentioned it when Roddy had me on the show a couple months ago. I really liked Dallas. I picked Dallas and Boston to be in the Cup final way back in maybe February, and I still have them. I still think those 2 teams will be in the Cup final, just based on Jake Ottinger's play, and it takes a good goalie to win a cup and get that far. So if they can keep riding him and keep getting point production from Hintz and Ben, and I mean, Robertson, he probably only has 4 or 5 points. He hasn't racked up the points. So if he can get going a little bit more, they're going to be a tough out. And I think they'll get by. They'll get by Minnesota, although they've played them a lot tougher than I originally thought.
Minnesota's tough, but at 3-2, This Dallas team, I think if Ottinger can continue to play well and get hot, they should be able to close this series out. But they got to go back to Minnesota for Game 6 before coming home for Game 7. Mentioned it's a somewhat quiet night in the National Hockey League playoffs. We got the extra day off for both the Leafs and the Jets. The Jets facing elimination against the Vegas Golden Knights. Meanwhile, the Leafs trying to finish off the Tampa Bay Lightning. You got to wait till Thursday to get both of those games. This is the extra day off between the 2 games. So just a pair of games in the National Hockey League tonight. The Florida Panthers will try and stave off elimination on the road in Boston. That series 3-1 Bruins. And maybe the surprise of the first round. I don't know. Colorado, Seattle. It's tied at 2. Jordan Everly was the OT hero, and Rod loved to see that as Eb's a good friend of Rod's and picking up the OT winner. Did you see? I mean, Seattle had a great regular season and played really well, but did you see them pushing Colorado as much as they have?
Well, it's almost like shades of Vegas when they first came into the league, right? They're, nobody's betting on them. Everybody's counting them out already. And I bet you they use that as motivation. A bunch of whatever you want to call them, misfits and castaways from other teams that kind of join forces. It's like that, Hollywood movie type of thing, like we saw Vegas in their first year. So, no, I did not. I'll admit I did not have Seattle, winning 2 games or how many ever, I didn't expect this series to be closer because Colorado is so good or has been so good. I don't think they're even close to the level they were at last year. I think they've fallen off quite a bit. They're still a decent team, and I still think they will eventually get by Seattle in this series. But yeah, it was kind of nice to see from a local perspective to see Eberle and Schwartz and all those local kids doing so well over in Seattle.
Yeah, it's fun watching those guys do their thing, no doubt. Look, I know we're going to get close to the break here, and we want to get more into the series because your background in officiating, as Rod calls it, the director of officiating around here, I want to talk about Cale Makar, a little bit about these playoffs. That's a tough one. Makar suspended 1 game for the hit on Jared McCann. It was a 5-minute major on the ice. They reviewed it, turned it into 2 minutes, but then had the hearing, turns into a 1-game suspension. So I want to talk about that on the other side of the break. We'll also talk flip to football. We'll talk a little CFL, get your outlook on the Riders as we head into camp and all the rest. Clark, we're okay to break here? Awesome. So we're going to do that. We'll step aside. We'll come back with more Taylor Shire here on the Rod Pedersen Show. You're watching on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and you're listening wherever you get your podcasts.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show today, live from the Delta Marriott downtown Saskatoon, because it was Game 7 last night in the Western Hockey League's Eastern Conference semifinal. Saskatoon Blades knocking off the Red Deer Rebels 5-2, and that was fun. Little history, Blades have not been to the conference finals. I think it's the early 90s, 93, 94. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to get into the YouTube chat here and just say hello and good morning to everybody. Rod checking in from on the road. So, hey, RP, drive safe. Have fun in Red Deer today. We'll lock this down for the day and then welcome you back in tomorrow. Jason in Red Deer says, good morning. What a game last night. Evander Kane was a man possessed. Yes. The Oilers need him rolling for sure. Carlos is watching. Good morning. Good morning to Monty. Yes, go Blades, go Monty. I know that's exciting. Good to see everybody at the game last night. John Ohm is here. Rich Robertson is in the building. So a lot of people checking in this morning. Jen is here as well. A big Oiler fan, so she's happy here on this Wednesday. Really great stuff. So get your comments in. Yes, we're going to talk about the CFL a little bit here. We're going to talk about the preseason games that TSN is choosing not to broadcast as well. Text line is open, 902-518-3033. And we have a poll question. Clark, you can bring in Taylor. Taylor Shire joining us from the Regina Leader-Post this morning for the first two segments. Poll question is this, Taylor, as we stick to hockey, and we'll get to the Makar thing in a second. I want to get to the Riders and the CFL preseason right around the corner. But the poll question, I just tweeted it out, Clark. It's for Key Auto Group. It's what's more likely, the Leafs blow the 3-1 series lead or the Jets erase the 3-1 series deficit? Early thoughts on the poll?
What do I want to see more?
What? Yeah, what do you want to see?
I'm not
but
a Leafs
also, what's
fan.
more likely? I mean, yeah, exactly.
I would love to see the Leafs blow this lead. I don't think that'll happen.
Spicy.
I don't see the Jets coming back either, especially without Morrissey. I mean, I would give equal odds to both.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
I can't.
Right now
either, so.
on Twitter, 89% are saying the Leafs will blow the 3-1 lead. It's very early. It's only been posted up for about 5 minutes.
Such a good story.
Oh. See, we point to that Montreal series, right? I say we. Clark and I are Leaf fans, not closet Leaf fans, but we're Leaf fans. We're out. So we're not that comfortable going into game 5, but. Jets and Golden Knights tomorrow, Leafs and Lightning tomorrow as well. So that should be a lot of fun. Look, Cale Makar, I want to talk about this. They called it a 5-minute major on the ice. They reviewed it. They brought it down to 2 minutes. What did you see on the play when you first watched it, when you watched the replays? What was your assessment as an official?
Easy 5-minute penalty. He lets him shoot, and then he gives him a little bit of a bump in the back. And then they take 3 or 4 strides, they turn, and then he completely levels him and hammers him into the boards. I think I'm surprised. It's bad optics that they reviewed it and brought it down to a 2. I don't know who had the call on that, and I don't know if they're going to be reprimanded for that because it was clearly a 5-minute penalty. I think the one thing that people are hung up on is that it was Cale Makar. If it was a fourth-line player doing that, there would be no debate that it would be a major penalty and a a suspension. I just think a lot of the times we see these superstars and these top players avoid suspension and avoid those, major penalties because they're the superstar players. I don't know how much of that goes into who decides when they do review it, but I think that's the one thing is like, oh, wow, Cale Makar is suspended, and it's not some fourth line player that won't make that much of a difference in one game.
Yeah, it definitely is different. When I see it, and I wasn't watching that game live at that point, but the puck gets shot, and we see the puck go up, and it looked like it might be tracking, into that corner, so you're kind of waiting for the loose puck to come out of and you bump. It didn't look that egregious at the time, but you got a player who's hurt. Now they're probably not going to get McCann back in the series, maybe longer. It is a tough look, and you're right, because it is Cale Makar. And I'd like your thoughts on this. I've always thought, the suspensions and stuff, like it's called supplemental discipline, right? So I feel like it is when it's not taken care of on the ice, you got to add extra discipline or take care of it after the game. So I personally...
sometimes that happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I think the fact that it was just a 2-minute call on the ice made it more likely that he got suspended. I think if he would have, been handed a 5-minute major on the ice, that might have been all they needed to do, right? The Avs might have been penalized enough. Maybe Seattle scores, right? And he serves the crime. But because it was just 2 minutes, I feel like they thought that wasn't enough and you got to give him a game. Or am I completely out to lunch in how I see supplemental discipline in certain cases?
No, you're bang on. And I think that does happen a lot of the time where whoever reviewed it and said it was 2 minutes, they obviously figured that wasn't enough. So they're going to make him miss a game. And whether it was, like you said, the current game that he was playing in, he should have missed that game, but he didn't. So now he's going to miss the next game because of that. Yeah, you're bang on that. And that probably does happen on a regular basis.
So what's the overall assessment of officiating in the playoffs so far? Because for me, that's been maybe the biggest talking point. I'm not saying it's my biggest thing that I talk about because I don't. But when we're on the show and the comments come into the YouTube chat or on the text line or you're scrolling Twitter, it feels like, and maybe it's just me, but it feels like this has been the loudest the fans have been in opposition to the refs, if that makes sense. Like I don't feel like there's been this much controversy.
I agree, and I think it's partly due to the social media and everybody having an opinion and everybody slowing things down and everybody getting upset about their team and a call against their team, where a few years ago, even 6, 7, 10 years ago, we would just enjoy the games for what they are and understand that officials aren't perfect and they're going to make mistakes and one call is going to go against your team and the other call is going to go against the other team. And the high stick call where it maybe touches the blade of the stick won't get looked at a million times from a million different angles and, frame by frame. I just think we're, as a hockey fan base, we're all just scrutinizing them way too much. We're not letting the game just play out. Everything is being reviewed and looked at. And the natural celebrations of any goal, you almost have to be like, oh, was he offside? Or, oh, was it a high stick? You almost have to, even the overtime, right? There's celebrations don't quite happen. They're kind of premature because, they're going to go review it or they're going to challenge it. So I just think everything has been just under the microscope, and it's not overly fair to officials because they see it in the moment at 100 miles an hour or however fast. And at home, we can sit on our couch and rewind it frame by frame and watch 10 different replays and whatnot. So being an official for 20 some years, I totally get the tough spot that an official is in during a hockey game. And to have that review and to have the armchair referee at home with his phone or his or her phone on Twitter complaining about their team, that's just the way we're living in now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this isn't new. Complaining about officials is not new. People just have an outlet to do it instantaneously. You don't have to write a letter to the editor and wait for the next day or the next week's newspaper to come out before your thoughts on the refs get out there. So, no, absolutely. This is just part of the game now and part of the new world we live in. They're wondering if they saw Will Ferrell at the Oiler game last night. Big fans. Does anybody see fake Will Ferrell at the Oilers game last night, and Jeff, the Stamps fan, says he saw a poster of Will Ferrell, he thinks. So there you go. You don't need to answer this. I mean, you can. Swerve wants to ask Mr. Referees, talking about you, Taylor, about the Foligno bang leg penalty. Did you see that one?
Not enough to comment on it right now, so I'll pass on that. I'll have to look it up, though.
Yeah. We've turned this into ask the referee, but I want to...
I saw it, but I didn't slow it down.
Yeah, I know. It just didn't seem like much, and I mean, we don't always see what the refs see, too, right? And sometimes they have a different angle and situation, but you know what? You got to move on. You can't get hung up on things that happened in the last game, especially in the playoffs. You got to look forward. You got to move forward. So not a lot of point in looking back at that one right now if you're Foligno or if you're in that series, Dallas, Minnesota. But, yeah, exciting times for you at the leader post. How much, I mean, with your first official week, I want to say missed the Bedard train, but you didn't miss the Bedard train. You're in that city. You're around that, that team. You're around that, all the hype around it. What was it like from your perspective? How much of it did you actually get to experience? And, what was that like?
I mean, it was nice I covered his first 2 seasons here, and of course the bubble as well. It was kind of nice to be a fan this last year, and I went to a couple games, took my kids to a couple, took my nephews to a couple. Just nice to be in the seats and feel that buzz that was around him. And it was basically, everything was Bedard focused. Every kid was wait until Bedard touched the puck. And I mean, not every kid, but every adult as well, right?
Yeah.
There was just this incredible buzz around him, and it was fun to watch. Too bad they didn't beat the Blades, though. That would have been nice to see them keep going in the playoffs. But Saskatoon, such a good all-around team. And Regina, I said to somebody, Regina had the better player, Saskatoon had the better team, and that was the difference in that series. But yeah, just a treat to watch Connor in his junior hockey career. Excited to see where he'll go. Don't quite know yet. Obviously, the lottery's coming up soon. I would like for him to go to a good place where he'll have some good structure and good support. But who knows,
good place with a rich history, traditions, and winning, and crazy fan base. Is that what you're getting at?
Wouldn't that be nice, hey, if he went to Montreal?
That would be something. That would be 8% something.
Chance?
What is it? Hey, you're saying there's a chance. May 8th is the draft lottery. I could talk about this all day, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but, where should he go? What market should he be in? And I'm a big fan of, let's put him in a market that needs him, Montreal, do they really need Bedard? Sure, put the team back and to win a cup, but that team is very successful, right? Does he need to go to Chicago? They just had a great stretch that teams really don't get treated to, with Taves and Kane and the Stanley Cups and Duncan Keith and Seabrook and all that. They don't need him. I look at some of the other organizations. Columbus has not had a lot of success, so okay, that would be cool, but the market's not that crazy. We haven't seen a lot of passion from that market, although inside the market, I'm sure it's outstanding. So I wonder if he'd get lost there. To me, the two, I just keep coming back to San Jose and Arizona as the two markets for me. Anaheim would be interesting to watch him play with Zegras, but, I think Bedard's maybe the only thing that could save hockey in the desert. If he goes there, you create a little buzz. Maybe Matthews goes in free agency and all of a sudden Arizona's a place, right? It's a long shot, but it could happen. And then San Jose, they've gotten close a lot of times in the Marlo Thornton years. Maybe this could get them over the hump. They've been around a little while. So for me, those are the two teams. So if it's not Montreal, where would you like to see him go?
Anaheim. I would like to see him go to Vancouver, but
Vancouver would be good.
That would just be the Cinderella story. There would be way too much pressure on him. That would be the only negative part. But for the hometown kid to go back to Vancouver, I think that would be just a storybook for him. But the pressure with that, I think, would be. I don't know. I wouldn't want to put that on the kid. I could totally see Anaheim, and they got bunch of young players that would make them a cup contender in 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah, maybe faster. Those young kids, they're going to take a big step forward next year. And Bedard in the mix would be crazy. Look, let's talk football. We only got you for a couple more minutes here. First week on the job, how much have you dived in to this Riders team? What the outlook looks like. Trevor Harris is the quarterback. I'm going to be hosting the Regina Rams dinner tomorrow night in Regina. Trevor Harris will be there, so I'll get a chance to chat with him and visit and catch up and get a sense of where he's at heading into the season. But how much have you looked at the outlook? Because we're only a few weeks away from training camp.
Yeah, I've started to dive into what this team will look like, working on a couple of different features for leaderpost.com. A little bit of a plug there. But yeah, training camp will start, and it's going to look a whole lot different. Obviously, the coach will be the same with Dickey, but the whole offense is going to see a totally different dynamic. Not only the quarterback, but all the receivers have changed, basically. Right? Like Shaq Evans, Duke Williams, Kyron Moore are all gone, and obviously Cody Fajardo. So the offense and the leaders are going to be all brand new. The offensive line obviously needs a little bit of work, so it's going to be a total rehaul of the offense. We have a new offensive coordinator as well. So who's going to step up? Who's going to be that leader? Obviously, Trevor Harris is the guy that everyone's going to look at to lead the team.
Yeah.
He's got a proven track record, and he can be that guy. So can he get everybody on the same page and get rolling early on? That'll be definitely the main storyline to watch as training camp begins.
It will be fun to watch, no doubt, and I'm sure it'll be a treat for you to follow. Training camp here in Saskatoon gets underway in just a few weeks' time. Taylor, I appreciate you jumping in this morning. Congratulations on the new job and all the success. Hope everything's well with you, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks for having me, Dupes. Have a good rest of your day.
Awesome. Taylor Shire from the Regina Leader-Post with us this morning. Let's update that poll question really quickly. The poll question is for Key Auto Group. Key Auto is the largest selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland area. Cars, trucks, SUV. Your journey begins at keyautogroup.ca. The poll today, what's more likely? The Leafs blow a 3-1 lead or the Jets erase the 3-1 deficit? 72% now going with the Leafs blowing the 2-goal lead. That is somewhat predictable. We are live from the Delta Hotels by Marriott, downtown Saskatoon. Jim Mullin, the president of Football Canada, is in next. We're going to get the latest on what's going on with SFU and their football program. The Canada West releasing their schedule yesterday, so we'll talk about that. All the other great things happening with football in our great country with Jim Mullin on the other side. It's the Rod Pedersen Show here today from Saskatoon on Game Plus TV. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're on the radio at Atlanta, and you're listening wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show. Darren Dupont with you here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. At least it is across most of the prairies. That's where we're located today. We're in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We were checking out the Saskatoon Blades Red Deer Rebels Game 7 last night, and we're live here from the Delta Marriott downtown Saskatoon Hotel. Beautiful spot, great hospitality. So thank you, Delta Saskatoon, for hosting us here today. The text line's open, 902-518-3033. We're going to update that. We're going to check in with the YouTube comments, and we'll update the daily poll. But let's bring in our next guest. Jim Mullin is with us, the president of Football Canada. It's always great to see you, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing good out at the hacienda here on Bowen Island. Folks may not remember this, but 2 Vanier Cups ago, Darren was my guest to watch the Vanier Cup here on Bowen Island. So I appreciate you coming
awesome.
out here for that.
Well, it was tremendous hospitality. Have to make it out there again. Actually, maybe we need a plan for August. I don't know if you're going to be around here, but something tells me, and we'll have a conversation off the air. I'll probably call you at some point around the CP Women's Open. Planning on being out there on the coast at the Shaughnessy Club for the CP Women's Open, so maybe make the trip across the ferry to Bowen Island. We'll catch up. But hey, lots going on today, and actually more going on yesterday with the Save the Program, the fundraiser, the one day going on till midnight last night. Tell us about that, and then we'll get a full update on the full SFU situation.
Yeah, 800 pledges, over $700,000 raised yesterday for a Canadian university football program. We were more than impressed, and it helps with the backing of an individual like Amar Doman, who has really stepped up as a leader in this community, not just as a CFL owner, leading the football community and rallying and throwing his time, effort, energy, and money behind this effort to restore Simon Fraser football through what has been a 3 weeks that has been nothing but a constant roller coaster ride. This is something that there's a dedicated group behind the scenes. It's taking up every waking moment and hour of our lives right now. For me, it's about a 14-hour a day thing, throwing some of the resources of Football Canada in to essentially defend one of our 28 high performance teams at the university level. And so far, so good in terms of winning the court of public opinion. I think the real date that's coming up is May the 3rd, when we go to face the university in our injunction process.
Yeah, so lay it out for me. What are the options that are sitting here for the school and those players? I mean, overall, we're trying to save the program, but we're talking about, you know, the spring camps, but we're talking about camps in August, a football season this fall. You know, one of the options that, you know, we were hearing, and especially on social media, was a plea to the Canada West. Their schedule came out yesterday. It does not include SFU on it. So what options are there for these players when it comes to potentially playing football this fall?
First of all, I think the group that's supporting a return for SFU football never looked at Canada West as a 2023 option. They knew that there was going to be work that needed to be done with Canada West and eventually U Sports over 3 months, 8 months, maybe even a year to make that 2024 season possible. There were two options for Simon Fraser moving forward. One is to go back to the Lone Star Conference. There was a schedule drafted up with Simon Fraser in it that was ready to go for 2023. The university, by the way, said money wasn't an issue, and there's 95 players on the roster. So those two things are taken care of. There was a schedule with the Lone Star Conference. If with this time expired over this last month, if that's not a possibility, there's been work done behind the scenes, and it will be in court filings, that there is a non-conference schedule that's been put together of 9 games, 5 teams from Canada, 4 teams from the United States. This would include an opening game at the defending Vanier Cup champion Laval Rouge, or for example. There would be stops in every conference in one way or another. This would conclude with a game against UBC, the Shrum Bowl at BC Place Stadium. And considering some of the buzz that's gone on around this story, it's been relentless in this market, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't know how the university can take this many reputation hits daily in the news cycle. But as you hear here, the phone's going off here again. You know, there's momentum behind this story, and there's a path for them to play in 2023. So if the money's there, the team's there, the schedule's there, what's the problem?
That's my question. And my next question is, you know, it's wild when I watch press conferences or, you know, video clips, or when they address the athletes themselves, how it felt like, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, Jim, I really don't, but it felt like, you know, the cowboy Woody, right? Buzz Lightyear and Toy Story, when you pull the string and you got 6 programmed responses that come out at the other end. That's what it felt like. Like there's no answers to the questions. So I'll ask you, like, what prompted the decision? Why are we here?
We don't know, essentially. And I know the university has said they were worried about the student experience, and they were worried about the student athletes moving on to their next football chapter. Well, I can tell you 2 things. In terms of the student experience, nobody ever asked the students. They want to come back and play football. In terms of those options for these student athletes who are on scholarship right now, all the scholarship money in the recruiting cycle is used up. At least 90% of it is. So for those individuals that need to move from SFU to another program, those options aren't there. This was not well conceived by the university when they made this decision, or maybe it was well conceived by the university, because there was no consultation leading up to this. No one had any idea that this program was going to be dropped. And then when it was announced, the players had 30 minutes to go and meet up in a theater with the athletic director and the VP Provo to tell them that the program had been shuttered. And that was at the start of their exams. These kids were in the middle of exams when this was happening.
Oh.
Like, instead of having mental health officers on hand, they had security guards on hand, and then they handed them a pamphlet saying, "Oh, here's how to get some mental health help as you go out the door." It's been incredibly insensitive, incredibly callous, poorly managed. The communications department of Simon Fraser was absent for about 16 days. The great thing about it is, from our perspective, I've been running point on the media campaign for this. We were able to drive a truck just in a straight line, straight up a Saskatchewan highway with this, and establish the narrative on this thing. So, it leaves me somewhat speechless in terms of how the university has managed this. They're not living. They're not walking the walk, and they're not talking the talk.
Whether you agree with their decision or not, whether you think the football program should be there or not, at least from a communications and a branding standpoint, if you're going to make a decision, at least be confident with it, communicate it well, and stick to it. Like, even if the answer is, we don't want our university to be a university with a football program. We'll hate you, but at least, we don't want a football program. Or at least say what's on your mind, what you're really thinking, or what the real decision is. It's just frustrating to get all the corporate speak. Look, we only have, about a minute left here. What's the best outcome for SFU? Is it to come up and play football and become a U Sports school? Or is it to continue to pave the way as Canada's lone NCAA school?
The best outcome for SFU right now as an institution, and I think the best outcome for these 95 student athletes and their coaching staff, is to avoid court on the 3rd and find a back channel here to avoid the vision and the specter of a university facing 5 young athletes in court saying you've broken a contract. In terms of reputation hit, I can't think of anything worse, quite frankly. Find a way around this, walk back a terrible decision, and then go on the road of playing an independent schedule, I think, in this year, as they're still sanctioned as a Division II team, and dive in and work with U Sports, work with Canada West, and find a path for affiliate status for your football program. That's where the answer is here.
Yeah. Jim, a real treat. Thanks for coming on. We're following very, very closely. You can follow Jim Mullin, president of Football Canada, on social media, on Twitter. He's following this every day. Would you say $700,000 raised?
Yeah. And Dupes, I'm sorry the phone rang 3 times. It's kind of the territory these days.
I would expect nothing less. It's going to ring from me at some point here soon, too. So all the best, Jim. We'll be in touch. Jim Mullin, president of Football Canada, and a great update on the SFU situation, following that very, very closely. One segment left in hour 1, then Jared Dumba joins us in hour 2, and we're going to get back into the NHL playoffs and start looking ahead. 2 games tonight, but we're really going to look ahead to Thursday. So Jets fans, Leafs fans, buckle up. We're going to get into both those series coming up a little bit later on. Okay, get your comments in, because it's you and I, short viewer takeover segment on the other side. RP Show live from the Delta Marriott in Saskatoon. RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, we got no time left, so we'll see you next hour. Jared Dumba is logging in as we speak, and he'll be ready to go for hour 2. Jets fans, Leafs fans, stick around. We are absolutely going to talk Jets and Leafs. We'll get to the poll question, and we'll answer all your questions, so stick around. Fill up your coffee. The Rod Pedersen Show is back after the break. YouTube, Game Plus, wherever you happen to get your podcasts.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality in upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Right now, Darren.
You know, Andre Dupont, the old Philadelphia Flyer tough guy, was nicknamed Moose.
And you being a tough guy.
Right. But in hockey, when I was younger, another player came across the middle and made the most devastating check I've ever made in my life. Take off the helmet, and it's a girl. So the coach slapped her. Attaboy, Moose. Just like the Moose. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, right?
The one sports show where roughing is encouraged.
Hello, welcome back. Hour 2 of the Rod Pedersen Show, live here on your podcast platform, here on YouTube, and across the country on Game Plus Television. Darren Dupont in for Rod Pedersen, who's away. He's in Red Deer, Alberta. Speaking engagements, so he's talking social media, motivation, all the things that he does in his public speeches. Rod Pedersen is away. We are live today from the Delta Hotels by Marriott, downtown Saskatoon. The Delta Hotel surrounds you with one-of-a-kind views of the city of Bridges, no matter how you decide to enjoy it. Imagine yourself in the tallest hotel in Saskatoon, steps from all-season hiking paths and that hug the banks of the South Saskatchewan River. You can book your stay today at the Delta Hotels Marriott, downtown Saskatoon. Big friends of the show, and let me tell you, these views are outstanding. 902-518-3033 is the number to call. At Rod Pedersen Show is the place to tweet us. And YouTube, Twitter, and rodpedersen.com, the place to check in on the poll question today. We're going to get to that here in a second for Key Auto Group. We'll update the poll. We'll get to your questions. Still a lot of people wanting to talk about what's going on with the SFU situation. Kevin, the medium, checking in from Calgary. Good morning, Kevin. Yes, still morning out there in Calgary. Says they haven't come out and given a reason, and that's the frustrating part. It's been a lesson in ineptitude. It has just been wild how much the court of public opinion is as close to 100% as you can be on the side of the football program and these players. I have never seen anything like this. I'm stunned. And every time I watch another press conference, another interview, another address to the athletes, any videos. The answers to questions just baffle me. The way that it's being handled is baffling. There's something else going on that nobody wants to talk about, and I don't know what that is, but it is absolutely wild. So it'll continue. It's a great interview. If you hadn't watched it, go back and watch it. Clark, it's one we're going to want to pull for the YouTube feed. So very good update. And on a one-day fundraising effort led by Amar Dolman and other members in the BC football community and across this country, I believe it was 800 pledges, more than 800 pledges, but over $700,000 raised in a single day. So outstanding job by the BC football community, by the Canadian football community, supporting SFU football. But Jared Dumba's here to talk hockey, not football, so let's bring him in. I was told he's wearing something great. Is that a 34, JD?
That's a 34. You got it.
I love it. Jared Dumba's back in the RP show in the bunker for this one. Was that Austin Matthews' best game as a Maple Leaf?
I thought so. I know a lot of people that were watching thought that they didn't. The top four didn't really show up, but I think they showed up at the right time, like star players tend to do. So that's why it's. Excuse me. That's why we don't maybe make too many comments until the game's over. He showed up, a couple of great goals, and just calm and cool like he always is. Marner, fantastic, couple great setups. It was a great game to watch.
You know, I was saying this on the show a little bit, but, you know, it's funny. They talk about jokingly about the Jason Sudeikis lookalike thing and all that. But to be honest, I'm all about energy a little bit. I like thinking about energy and, you know, how I approach the world and stuff. And I'm watching that game, and I was telling Clark this too. We went down 4-1. I say we. The Leafs went down 4-1, still on a national talk show here. You know, they go down 4-1 in the second period, and I'm like, I don't want to be mad, but I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad because it's slipping away again. The season is slipping away, you know? So I'm like, we need new energy in this building. We need new energy in the house here. So I flipped on Ted Lasso. I didn't watch the third period. We had an episode to watch, and we watched it. And I kept checking my phone. I'm like, well, that's 4-2. Keep watching the episode. 4-3, 4-4. So our episode ended, watched overtime, and sure enough, the Leafs won. We fixed the energy. But maybe that it was the third period that was it for the Leafs. But what have you seen from this group that convinces you that they can get it done, that this group is finally at a place, not, you know, maybe to win a cup, but to get passed around and start to see some success?
Well, the thing I like is they seem to go into a little bit of lulls where they're not playing their own game, and then when they start to play their own game, which is just keep wheeling, keep moving the puck, and then they sort of get Tampa Bay backed into a tight box, and they start watching. And right when Tampa Bay starts watching, that's when Riley seems to know exactly when to shoot the puck. You got a couple of guys going to the net. When they just keep moving and play their own game and just keep getting pucks to the net, getting guys in front of the goaltender, who's one of the best in the world, if not the best. I think when they do that, if they can keep that up, if they can do that for most of the next game, we could see them close out a series. And I don't know, is there going to be a parade if they get past this? Are we going to have to put the second round on hold for a week or so? I don't know, but I think if they're going to be able to close it out, that's what they got to do. Stick to their game and not worry about getting in any of the stuff that you know, everybody wants Matthews and everybody to get in and get rough and get tough. I mean, he did a little bit, but that's not his game. They got to stick to their game and just block out all that outside noise, that outside energy, like you say.
If the Leafs get past Tampa and then promptly get bounced by Boston in 4, 5, 6, 7 games, is the season a success still?
If you're asking me personally, I'd have to say it is, because you're just climbing one more block. You know, you're just getting that little bit ahead, a little more confidence. And it's a hard league to win in. There's 32 teams, and how many 12 of them, 12 to 14 have a great shot. It seems like So you just got to keep adding. And, I hear people saying, well, if they don't do it this year, blow it up. Well, what if Washington would have done that? Ovi didn't win till he was 32 years old. So still lots of time. Who knows? This could be the year. Maybe they surprise everybody, get a little swagger in their step, get up against Boston. And if Boston closes that out, which I'm sure they will. But you never know what happens. That's why we play the games, and the playoffs is a completely different animal. You get a bunch of young guys with some good vets in that locker room, and you start to get a little swagger in your step. Anything's possible. So we'll see. That's why we play the games, right?
Yeah, you said it. Like, you got to be patient. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's not just Leafs fans. It's all markets. Just so impatient. I mean, McDavid, Matthew, Draisaitl, Marner, Nylander, they're still fairly young. You talked about Ovechkin, 32. Yzerman didn't win a Stanley Cup till he was in his 30s. It takes time to learn how to win in this league, right?
Well, and what about the team that they're playing? What about Stamkos? How long did it take him to win? Remember, it was only 4 years ago that Steven Stamkos was not a winner. He's just not a winner. Everybody was saying he's never going to be able to do it. And now he's one of the best leaders and one of the biggest winners in the game. So I think you just got to stick with your team, stick with your, the fans got to stick with everybody and do it as a unit, because the boys on the ice, they can feel, and it goes, once again, going back to that energy thing, when the fans start turning on you, you can feel it. If you're down by a goal or two and the fans are still got your back, that can give you an extra boost. That's like a seventh man on the ice. So everybody's got to stick with it.
Do they have to win it in Game 5? Because if they lose Game 5 at home, you go to Game 6. I'm just going to talk as an anxiety-riddled Leaf fan, okay? Then you go to Game 6, and you're in Tampa. And, of course, Tampa's not going to lose 3 in a row at home, right? So they're going to win that one at home. Now you come back for Game 7, and now you're because it's Game 7, and now you can't make any mistakes, right? Do you have to close it out in Game 5, or is this team fine?
Well, you want to close it out in Game 5, but if...
Well, I know you want to.
Yeah, but if for some reason you don't, now this is why having guys like Ryan O'Reilly, Mark Giordano in your locker room, that's why they're so big. Because if something happened, say they lost in overtime, and now, oh, no, we got to make the trip back to Tampa, and the boys start thinking too much, that's when those old boys will step up and say, hey, guys, we're still up. Calm down. Let's just go play our game. We've won there before. We could do it again. Everybody just calm down. Let's go out and play our game. That's why some of those moves that were made, like I said, especially the O'Reilly one, so huge for the team. And I think it's gonna help them get over the hump. I think Tampa looks tired. I think for the last couple of months of the year, they looked like they were, they'd have a good game and then they'd look tired for a game or two. So the Leafs got to prey on that as well. You saw it in the third period of last game. They started to look a little tired. So just keep those young legs going, play your game, and take advantage of what you can. Play the game that's in front of you.
Outside of Leafs and Lightning, what's been your favorite series of the opening round?
Well, I mean, the Kings Oilers has been phenomenal, and I'm also a big Kings fan, so I got the Leafs jersey on, but I've been a Kings fan since Gretzky got traded there. So, and I was an Oilers fan before that. So it's I love watching those two teams and watching the battle and watching the heat on Twitter between all the fans. It's just fantastic. It's a lot of fun. That's a great series, but I'm telling you, one series and one team that I would not rule out, the Minnesota and Dallas series. To me, it looks like it's maybe the fastest series. And when you look at Minnesota's team, when you look at Dallas's team, I know they're up 3-2 now. Minnesota can always come back. They got some good youth and some good vets, but there's something about that Dallas team with the goaltending they got that he can just turn it on at any time and win a game for them. You got some great D-men, a great mix of youth forwards and some character forwards, some older guys. Captain America there, and there's something about that Dallas team that I really like. I wouldn't write them off, or if I was somebody that was playing them, I wouldn't take them too easily.
Yeah, you can't write them off. a big win last night for Dallas, 4-0 over Minnesota. Sagan again had a big game. Ottinger was good. So that group may be finding their stride a little bit now. After Minnesota's kind of, a little chippy. They're hanging in there. They're grinding away, trying to push that to 7 games. Last night, I'll get your thoughts on the Oilers here. In the few minutes we have left, we can go back to that LA-Edmonton series. Was that a game that finally Edmonton was able to win without gripping their sticks at the end, 6-3? Was that a back-breaking game for LA? Can they recover from that?
I think they can, but there's some things, I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not a big fan of the way LA always plays their lines or plays their players, mixes their lines. For Edmonton, that was a huge game. They just came out. They had the pedal to the metal. Everybody's following Draisaitl. I mean, McDavid's playing well too, but Draisaitl's just on another planet right now. He looks phenomenal. Everything just seemed to come together, and you could tell from in those the first half of period. In the first period that Edmonton just looked like they had that swagger. They looked like they're getting comfortable out there. A little worried for my Kings, but you know what? If Edmonton knocks them off, I'd happily cheer for the Oilers because they got a lot of great young guys, and it'd be great to see them win too. Another great Canadian team.
Stuart Skinner was back in goal last night instead of Jack Campbell. He got the win. It was good night all around for Oiler fans. I know it was a little hairy there in the opening period when it was tight, 3-2 after 1, but they ended up rolling, scoring 3 of the next 4 goals. So that was great for the Oilers. Look, we're up against a break here. There's comments coming in on the text line that we want to get to. We've got shout-outs from our radio listeners. We've got a question, Jared, that we want to get to about the Scheifele play where he tripped going into the boards and the goaltender. So think about that. We're going to get to this Jets and Golden Knights series that has a day off today before they resume with Game 5 tomorrow. So we'll do that. We'll want to talk about the Saskatoon Blades a little bit. Big Game 7 win last night with you. So we'll do that all on the other side of the break, okay? It's the RP Show. We're live from the Delta Marriott downtown Saskatoon Hotel here on Game Plus television all across this country. We're live streaming on YouTube, and you may be listening anytime, anywhere, wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Hey, welcome back to the RP Show. Rod will be back in the show tomorrow, and I'm sure we are going to get a lot of conversation about the potential of a new arena in Calgary. And Tuesday, City of Calgary announced plans for the brand new arena. Price tag around $800 million. Rod talked about it at rodpedersen.com this morning in his daily commentary. You can read it daily, rodpedersen.com. He says, at the conference I'm at in Red Deer, a guy leaned over and said, are they going to do it this time? And he answered, yeah, I think so. So I'm sure we'll have more conversation about the new arena when Rod is back from Red Deer tomorrow on the air, speaking right now. But you can read his thoughts at rodpedersen.com. You can also vote on the poll question today, and that's where we'll bring in Jared Dumba back again, and we'll ask him the poll question. Jared, what is more likely today? The poll question is for Key Auto Group. It's Truck Month at Key Chevrolet Buick GMC. Get 3.49% financing up to 72 months on the 2023 Silverado 1500. Go to keychev.com for more details. The poll question today is, what is more likely? The Leafs blow the 3-1 series lead, or the Jets overcome the 3-1 series deficit? What's more likely, Jared?
Ooh, jeez, that's what's more likely? That's a great question. I don't think it's going to happen, but you'd have to say, with all the injuries and the tough luck going the Jets' way, you'd have to say the Leafs blowing the lead. But I don't think either one of those things is going to happen, to be honest. That's a great question. Whoever came up with that one, great job.
Thank you. We really, we were thinking about a poll question today, and it just kind of came to me later, but just before we went to air, that's the interesting thing, because if you say the Leafs losing is more likely, you're kind of being disrespectful to the Jets, right? Yeah. But if you say the Jets winning, that's the way to go. But, man, you talk about the injuries, right? I mean, they're piling up. Ehlers and Morrissey, the two most notable. Scheifele, and how's he overall? Before we get into the series a little bit, but I want to get to the text line, 902-518-3033. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba, says, hi, Moose. Should Vegas's goalie have gotten a tripping penalty on the Scheifele play? What do you think, Jared?
I don't know. That's a tough one. It's kind of a situational call. It's tough for the refs on the ice. You got a guy like Scheifele who's always in front of the net. Good hard player, always going hard to the net. It's a tough call. I think in the you might see a call like that in the regular season. It's all going to depend on the refs and kind of what's going on in the game. A lot of the times, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I think I probably wouldn't have made that call in the playoffs, but I know if you're a Jets fan, you're probably going to be saying, yeah, 100%. That was a trip.
It's tough because he got hurt and he left the game, and then the Jets lost the game, and you look at all these external things that happen around the play, and you start thinking, okay, yeah, sure, a lot of other things happen because of this, and maybe it should have had a penalty attached to it. But I also look at, especially in the playoffs, does the infraction create a scoring chance or take away a scoring chance? Now, you'd argue that Scheifele was barreling down, and maybe if he hadn't got run into, maybe he'd have had a better scoring chance. But I think he had played the puck first. I think it was just one of those plays, a guy going hard to the net, a goaltender being really competitive. And it's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to finish the game.
And a lot of the times, I think what a lot of fans don't realize is, we all have the benefit of watching it, 100 times on the replay right after and making our decision. When it's happening that fast and you're on the ice, you're a referee, you're watching 5 or 10 other things, and then you're kind of watching the play. It also comes down to, are you looking right at Scheifele, or are you looking at the goalie? Where are your eyes? Are your eyes up a bit, down a bit? It's so tough, and I know a lot of people always want to hold the ref's feet to the fire, but there's so much that goes into it. So it is what it is. In hockey, everybody, it always goes both ways. You just got to deal with the hand that you're dealt. And unfortunately, the Winnipeg fans would like some, would like the penalty call there. But, Vegas fans are probably happy right now.
Randy in the Peg says, let's hope they both happen, meaning the Jets come back and the Leafs blow the lead. So they want the best of both worlds. Yeah, very interesting poll today. Tom, who I believe is in Winnipeg, says no excuses. Winnipeg Jets barely got into the 2023 playoffs. They're done. Toast. So do you believe that, or do you think the Jets have what I mean, man, that's a lot of adversity when you're talking about losing key guys, the emotion that you went through, in game 3, just to come back in that third period, only to have the wind out of your sails to lose in overtime. That's emotionally draining. And as as fans, we go through the emotional roller coaster, but as athletes, that wears on you too, as much as the physical stuff, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because then and especially if you don't, I know that they have good vets around, so that'll help. But if you start getting in your head and you start doing the what if, and what if we would have won, and what if this would be better, and what if that, instead of just focusing on the task at hand and what you got to do next, and just taking it one game, one shift at a time, if that stuff starts happening, that's going to run against you as well. But it's going to be a long battle back. I think it depends. Depends a lot on Scheifele. It's going to be a tough battle back though here. It's so tough to say, but if I'm being completely honest, giving you my call, I think Vegas is going to close it out. But Winnipeg I think Winnipeg could surprise with one more. Vegas could get a little ahead of themselves. We'll see. It's going to be a fun game to watch either way.
The opposite of the Toronto-Tampa series is where Winnipeg is at. Obviously, mirror image, right? 3-1, down 3-1, up 3-1. But you're going on the road to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
You just got to win one on the road. And Rick Bowness said this. He's like, forget about the stats of 3-1. It's like, when you're down 3-1, 300 and some odd times to like 29 is the record of the team that's up 3-1 in the series. Well, one of those 20-something games is Toronto against Montreal not that long ago, okay, where the Habs came back from 3-1 and went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, they had Carey Price, but hello, Winnipeg's got Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah.
And this Winnipeg team, I know they're banged up. I know Nikolai Ehlers is a great player. Josh Morrissey could be a Norris candidate, Josh Norrisy, right?
Yeah.
You just can't replace those guys. But on paper, I like this Winnipeg Jets team a lot more than I liked that Montreal Canadiens team at 100%. That time. Yeah. So forget about 3-1. You just got to go in and win a game in Vegas. You go win a game in Vegas, now you're coming home to the whiteout, right? Now you're coming home riding a wave into the whiteout. And all you got to do is, ride that that momentum at home, win a game, and you're going to Game 7, and anything can happen in Game 7. And by the way, I don't claim to know the details of all the injuries that Winnipeg's facing and how long-term they are, but every game you play, and the longer you extend this series, the better chance you have of guys getting healthier and being ready to play. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking myself into believing that the Jets have a chance.
Well, you know what? There's always a chance, and you know what? When you get Mo on your side, like you said, momentum. All you got to do is win one. You don't have to look at it. Once again, it's how do you look at it? Do you psych yourself out and go, "Oh, we got to win 3 in a row now," or do you say, "No, we just got to win one." Look at it that way. Then you're coming home. Then we know if we got a little bit of momentum, then we can win at home. Then we've got all the momentum on our side going back into Vegas. And who cares where that last game is if we've won 2 in a row? Now they're gripping their sticks. It's all how you look at it. I mean, you can sit back and you can look at the numbers, like you said, and say, 300 and some times, the team that's up 3-1 wins, so they're probably going to do it because that's what it says. Or you can say, well, 29 times it's happened, so you know what? We're due for a 30th. Let's go get it. So it's all going to be how the team comes out. Lots of things go into it with the injuries and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting to see how they come together. They got a great coach. You know that they're going to be ready. And
yeah,
if you know what, their best chance is if Vegas goes home and says this one's over. We win at home. We just won there. We're going to do this. They got a bunch of injuries. They start getting ahead of themselves. Then. Yeah, there's a chance.
We're getting them riled up in the comments section. I'm loving this as we check in on the YouTube chat. First of all, they agree with us. It should not be a penalty on the goaltender for the play on Scheifele, and that's coming from Jets fans, so that's good to see. Tom says, you're the best, Moose, giving us Jets fans hope. So love that. I hope you guys are getting excited, trying to get you fired up. You got another day off before you'll get to Game 5 on Thursday. I want to just check in on the schedule here for a second because, Thursday is Lightnings, Leafs, Rangers, Devils, Jets, Golden Knights. Friday, you'll get, 4 games on the schedule. You got to wait all the way till Saturday before you get Oilers and Kings in Game 6. You got to wait all the way to Saturday. You get the dreaded, 3 days off, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We were going day off, day off, day off. And, as a Leaf fan, you plan your every second day, or a hockey fan, whatever team you're in. It's tough, Jets fans, the 2 days off, right? Having to wait all the way till Thursday for the next game. How about Oiler fans? Got the 3 days off. What does that do to a team momentum-wise, what the Oilers were able to do in Game 5? What does that do for them? What does it do for the Kings having an extended layoff before Game 6?
You know what? I think it'll help the Kings. Not saying that that's going to make that they're going to win for sure because it's going to help the Kings. But when Edmonton came out and pretty much dominated that game, we got to be honest. When they do that, now you've got a few days to just kind of breathe, relax, get it out of your head, get a couple practices in. Get your own momentum going, with Doughty and the boys, the veterans, Kopitar in the room, McClellan. They can try and get everybody's head on right and get them focused on the right things. So that'll help the Kings. But you know what? If you're the Oilers, it's not. I don't think it's going to hurt the Oilers. I think it'll help the Kings a little bit, but it's definitely not going to hurt the Oilers after they just found their swagger in the last game. So I think. Last game was a little more lopsided. I think the next game we see is going to be probably 4-3. Could be another overtime game. I think we're going to see a tight one, and who knows which way it goes. This series has been so exciting. Could go either way.
Could go either way. Looking forward to that tonight. And quickly, thoughts on the 2 games in the NHL tonight. Panthers, Bruins. Boston can wrap up that series. They're at home with a 3-1 series lead. That game getting underway at 7 p.m. Eastern time. 5 o'clock here in Saskatchewan and Alberta. And then the 9:30 Eastern game, 7:30 Mountain, is the Kraken at Colorado. That series tied at 2 apiece. So start Florida-Boston.
Yeah, it's going to be that Kraken series is an interesting one, and now they're losing Makar for a game. That's going to be interesting. Can the Kraken go up? Another one that I've been so interested in watching is that Jersey and New York. They're right close to each other there. Good little rivalry. Just when it looked like New York was just going to steamroll through the series, all of a sudden New Jersey with a great defensive game. They've got, once again, a good mix of older players and younger players. Goaltend, it's going to come down to goaltending, I think, there. But which Rangers team's going to show up? Did they get a little too cocky last game? It's so tough to tell, but I'm really looking forward to that game as well. It'd be great to see New Jersey, pull something off. But I know there's a lot of Rangers fans out there too that finally want to see them, go and win it all. I knew a lot of people that were calling the Rangers to win it all, but once again, I know in today's day and age with all these great teams, I know somebody that was picking basically every team to win it all.
Everybody. And anything can happen. Rangers got to the conference final last year. Can they get back there, take it one step further? We'll find out. JD, thanks for coming down, man. And what is happening with you tomorrow night? We're getting together to watch this Toronto-Tampa game?
I think we should. Give me a shout.
Okay. We'll talk. Right. We'll watch the game tomorrow night. All the best, pal.
It was virtually great to see you, brother.
How about that?
Right back at you. There you go. Rod will be cheering for the Florida Panthers tonight. They're taking on the Bruins. Seattle is in Colorado. But we're going to talk CHL playoffs with Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. They're off to the Western Hockey League's Eastern Conference Final to take on the Winnipeg Ice. That's happening on the other side of the break. The RP Show live from the Delta Hotels Marriott in Saskatoon downtown here on a beautiful Wednesday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. You're watching on Game Plus TV. Streaming live on YouTube. We're on the radio, and we are on Apple and Spotify and wherever else you get your podcasts.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, welcome back. The RP Show is live here from sunny Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, where the Saskatoon Blades were winners last night in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. And let's bring in the radio play-by-play voice, Les Lazaruk. How are you, Les? Did you get some sleep last night?
Good to see. I got a little bit. I think 5 hours is about it. Trying to croak my way through an on-air shift today. So, yeah, whatever. I mean, hey, it's sunny in Saskatoon and sunnier because the Blades are on their way to the Eastern Conference Final.
What were you thinking in the final moments of the game? What was going through your mind, and what was the call like?
What's going through my mind is that we're witnessing a historic moment, something that has only happened twice before in the Western Hockey League, and it's happened a few more times in other leagues. I mean, I was going through the list the other day of teams who have come back from 3-0 down to win a best-of-7 series in 7 games, and it's not a very long list. And now you can add the Saskatoon Blades to it, having come from behind to defeat the Red Deer Rebels in the series. And the other thing about it is that how close were the Blades, not just in this series, but even in the series against the Regina Pats in the opening round, to being knocked out of the playoffs. And yet here they are, 8 wins and 6 losses in 14 playoff games, and they're off to the 3rd round of the playoffs for the first time since 1994. It's a long-suffering fan base here.
Long-suffering fan base, almost 3 decades since, they've been to the conference final. And, what is this? I mean, I got a taste of it last night. This city going through, I mean, the building's been nicknamed the library at times. I know there's been some lean years when it comes to championship and playoff success, but that fan base was outstanding last night. I mean, the Go Blades Go chants, they were on top of the penalty kill on the clears and blowing the roof off the place. I mean, that was one of the great hockey atmospheres that I've been around. It was really neat.
Yeah, it's gotten really good this year. A lot of credit goes to the game day production staff with the Blades. They do an outstanding job of being on top of things and understanding what all the elements to a game are and when to press the buttons and when to back off. But when it comes to pressing the buttons to make sure that the fans can get involved, I mean, sometimes you got to lead the horse to water, so to speak, and you got to lead the fans to make sure that they cheer and do the right things at the appropriate time for the home team. And that production crew has done it, and the fans follow up, and they do an outstanding job. I mean, 9,400, almost 9,500 fans last night, and those all bought basically in a 36-hour period or 30-hour period, because they didn't go on sale until Thursday at noon after the Blades found out that, not Thursday, but on Monday at noon, they went on sale. What day is it exactly? Yeah. It's all starting to run together. The tickets went on sale Monday at noon when they finally found out Sunday that they had won Game 6 in Red Deer for a Tuesday evening game. So, the fans coming out has just been tremendous. And again, that's almost another 10,000 crowd. There was 4 of them in the first round series against Regina and 6 of them in total against the Pats because of the Connor Bedard effect. But seeing the 9,500 last night shows that you don't necessarily need to have Connor Bedard being involved, although it helps. but you can draw people in based on what you're doing with your play. And fans are starting to take notice of the Saskatoon Blades, and really now as they make their way into the Eastern Conference Final against Winnipeg.
It's important for us to tell the stories of these players and introduce the characters and build the attachment. You saw exactly the blueprint of that with Connor Bedard. You know who the kid is, you feel an attachment, you want to come out and watch. So tell me about Spencer Chagru. Like, I saw, you see, and I retweeted it this morning if you want to go check on social media, on Twitter, but Brendan Sawney in the locker room, his speech after the game. This kid, I mean, was it 3 goals in the regular season, right? But then he scores in Game 7 against Regina.
120. Yeah, 3 goals in 125 regular season games in his career. Not this season, in his career. And he comes up with 3 in 2 Game 7s in this playoff season. Crazy. That's just, the unlikely hero coming out and being able to make things happen for the team. And Spencer Chagru, Mr. Game 7 now. That's how he's going to be known for the rest of his life here in Saskatoon. The ability to come up big when the team really needed him.
Unreal. Yeah, a goal in that Game 7 against Regina, 2 last night.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So we are all across the country, so I want to update this, where we stand in all the playoffs now. And they're down to the Final Four everywhere. In the Ontario Hockey League, it's the Peterborough Petes, it's the Sarnia Sting, the North Bay Battalion, the London Knights, the Final Four there. In the queue, the Halifax Mooseheads, the Sherbrooke Phoenix, Quebec Remparts, and the Gatineau Olympique are all there in the queue. But we'll talk about the dub, because Kamloops and Seattle are in the West, and now the Blades have the Winnipeg Ice starting Friday night. So tee up the next round, the conference finals.
Well, first and foremost, out in the West, and Kamloops and Seattle. Seattle's built for this. They are the Edmonton Oil Kings of last year, making the deals necessary to get as big and bad and as good as they can possibly be, and they certainly are. They're the team to beat, really, although Kamloops getting Olin Zellweger on the back end is big time. He is, along with Logan Stankoven, led that Blazers team. And, of course, here in the Eastern Conference, both the Winnipeg Ice and Saskatoon Blades are so excited for the Kamloops Blazers to win that series out west, so that the winner of the Eastern Conference Series can get an automatic berth into the Memorial Cup, because Kamloops are the hosts and they're already in. And if they happen to beat Seattle, then one of Winnipeg or Saskatoon gets in. And that's really strange to be able to say, after 29 years behind the mic following the Saskatoon Blades, that the Blades could actually earn their way into the Memorial Cup by somehow finding a way to beat the Winnipeg Ice, which is not going to be easy. We're talking about the Scotty Munro Memorial Trophy champions as the first place team in the entire Western Hockey League during the regular season. And the Blades are going to try and upend the apple cart, so to speak. They beat them twice here in Saskatoon during the regular season. In the history of that franchise in Winnipeg, playing out of that tiny little bandbox known as the Wayne Fleming Arena on the University of Manitoba campus, the Blades have only won once, and that was in the 2021-22 season. They lost in overtime in a game in Winnipeg this past season, and yet I sense again that there's a quiet confidence amongst the Saskatoon Blades moving forward into this series with Winnipeg.
Look, we can get into the minutia of the team and things like that, but look, you've seen a lot of stars in your time with the Blades. I mean, there was a bunch of great teams in the early 2000s and leading up to the Memorial Cup in 2013, high-profile teams. Even recently, Tristan Robbins and Kyle Krinkovic's now in Seattle, right?
Yep.
This team doesn't seem, from the outside, again, I haven't been as intimately involved as I had been, over a 7-year period, working closely with you, but it doesn't feel like there's the identity of, okay, here's your 2 stars, here's your 3 stars, here's your scorers, and these are the guys doing everything else. It feels like what Brendan Sawney's done has built a team. A lot of structure, a lot of buy-in, and a lot of depth, and you don't really have a lot of separation from lines 1 through 4.
Yeah, that would be accurate, Darren. There's no 2 ways about that. And the players amongst themselves, it's a brotherhood. And I mean, that term gets thrown around pretty loosely in sports amongst teams, that you can have that brotherhood and everybody gets together and everybody likes each other. I think it's genuine with this team, that they really do care about one another and do like each other and will do anything for each other. And certainly the ability of Igor Sidorov or Trevor Wong, who are their two leading scorers in the playoffs, yeah, they kind of carry it. But then you get Spencer Chagru, Connor Roulette, who's the most experienced player on the team in the playoffs in the Western Hockey League, having played 25 games with Seattle last season on their run to the Western Hockey League final. And yet here he is, scoring twice last night. His two goals just as big as Spencer Chagru's 2 goals in that game. 7 victory over Red Deer. So it goes all over the place. You'll take a look at Tanner Mollendijk, who's ranked 28th by Central Scouting in the final rankings ahead of the NHL draft. He plays 30 minutes a night on the blue line, and last night with the team, many players, as you heard, Darren, you were upstairs in our post-game show area, head coach Brendan Sonny talking about his team being riddled with illness, guys puking on the bench, trying to play through it and having a tough time doing it, down to 4 defensemen at times. Tanner Mollendijk was one of those guys, and he is going to be an early National Hockey League draft pick come this year in Nashville. He skates well. He's got some offensive capability to him, but he's not afraid to get involved. He's thrown some hits along the line. But there's all kinds of guys that can go up and down the roster, and I can, wax poetic about how good they are and what they've been able to do. But essentially, it is a team first and foremost, like you said.
Very cool. Yeah, it was fun to be there last night. Now, I know we're running out of time here. Before we let you go, tell me about the bananas, because that's become a thing. One thing I've noticed in the crowd last night, I mean, obviously the crowds are getting bigger. There's more yellow in the crowd. The Pac-Man thing is stronger than ever, which is great, the identity there. But I'm seeing banana costumes now, and they're really leaning into the yellow. So that started with a promotion, didn't it, earlier in the year?
Started with a promotion last season, an April Fool's promotion, where they rebranded the team as the Bananas on April Fool's Day and ended up winning the game. And it went over so well that they decided to bring it back again this year, and it took off again. So for one game, one day each season over the last 2, the Blades franchise has been rebranded as the Saskatoon Bananas. The team, again, in the front office have done a fabulous job of putting that together. The community has bought in. There's jerseys being bought. Everybody seems to think it's wonderful. There may be a need to have a Saskatoon Bananas baseball team when the Western Canadian Baseball League arrives here next year. That would be my suggestion, but there will be a name the team contest on that one. But yeah, the Bananas thing is a lot of fun, and a lot of people have taken to it, and good on the Blades for doing something fun with their jerseys and with their identity.
I think that's really cool to continue to build the brand that way. So awesome stuff. Good to see you last night, Les. Congratulations.
Likewise, it was great to.
Yeah.
It was great to have you alongside in the booth for an intermission chat. It's good to see you too, Darren, and all the best to you, RP, and all the rest of the gang back there with the Rod Pedersen Show. We continue to watch.
Awesome. Good luck in Winnipeg. And that series opening up Friday night. Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades, joining us here from Saskatoon. The Blades, again, off to the Eastern Conference Final. First time since the 1993-94 season, and doing it in dramatic fashion, overcoming a 3-0 series deficit to the Red Deer Rebels. And in Game 4, I believe, going into the third, they were down by 2, overcame that, and ended up winning in Game 7 at home, 5-2 on Tuesday night. One final timeout. We'll update the poll question. We'll head into the text line at 902-518-3033. Recap the show, your comments on the live stream on YouTube, and whatever else we have to get through. We'll wrap things up on the other side in overtime. The Rod Pedersen Show, here from sunny Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and the Delta Hotels by Marriott, downtown Saskatoon hotels. You're watching live coast to coast on Game Plus television. You're listening on the radio. You're streaming this on YouTube, and you may be watching this or listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back. It's been a fun day here on the Rod Pedersen Show. Hope Rod's having a great day in Red Deer. He's got a public speaking engagement there. He's at a conference, so he's the keynote, and having a great day. He'll be back tomorrow, and I'm sure on the schedule is going to be a lot of talk about this Flames new arena deal will be tomorrow. Clark, do we know who's on the show tomorrow? John Bender, Tori Gurley, and Justin Dunk will be on air tomorrow. And that reminds me, we'll be talking a lot of NFL draft. It's round one of the NFL draft tomorrow night. Who goes number one? And there's lots of talk about the NFL draft. Will Levis is being talked about as a dark horse number one pick. I don't like it. Anthony Richardson's being talked about as a number one overall pick. No longer is it Bryce Young, a slam dunk? I still think it's Bryce Young. I think that's where I'm putting my change at Bet Regal. For sure, it's Bryce Young. The big question for me is how far does C.J. Stroud fall because of the negative press that's come out around his test scores and things like that? That's what I'm wondering. I think C.J. Stroud could be the fourth quarterback taken in the draft behind Young, Richardson, and Levis. I really do. It'll be interesting to watch that play out. So we'll have full NFL draft coverage tomorrow on the show, probably some NHL arena talk. But you can bet at betregal.net. Play for free. There's play for free sportsbook at betregal.net. You can also do futures picks on the National Hockey League playoffs, and that's our poll question today as we continue to put a wrap on some of our business today. The poll question is for Key Auto Group. Key Auto is the largest selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland area, keyautogroup.ca. And what is more likely? Is it the Leafs blowing a 3-1 lead or the Jets erasing a 3-1 deficit? Final tally on YouTube, Clark? I know. Oh, it didn't get up on YouTube, so we got to check the feed on Twitter really quick, and I know we are inside 90 seconds. We're into the final minute, last minute of play in the RP show as we check in. 71% say the Leafs will blow the 3-1 lead as opposed to the Jets coming back from a 3-1 deficit. I didn't vote yet, but I am voting for the Jets erasing the 3-1 deficit. I think that's what will happen, more likely than the Leafs blowing the lead. So awesome stuff. Thank you to Wayne and Sven and John and Swerve and Jen and Tom and everybody watching on the YouTube feed and for all the comments today. Really enjoying the show. This was a lot of fun. Thank you to Jared Dumba. Thank you to Taylor Shire, Jim Mullin, Les Lazaruk for joining. Lots of great stuff on the program today. And that's it. Enjoy the games tonight. We will see you all tomorrow here on the Rod Pedersen Show. From Saskatoon and the Delta Marriott downtown, thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.
Who has more fun than us?
Bingo! Hot dang! Hot! Bob's your uncle.